Indonesia bans compulsory hijab in schools. So, human rights activists commended Indonesia's decision to ban compulsory hijab in public schools. The school's practice of forcing women to wear religious clothing is now banned as of February 3rd. The Indonesian government's decree that the hijab cannot be mandated in public schools was motivated by an incident regarding a Christian student that went viral on social media and captured national attention. When a Christian female student repeatedly refused the demands to wear hijab, school officials requested that her parents come in to speak with them. While they were there, her parents discreetly recorded the meeting, then posted it to social media. In the meeting, the school official asserted that the rule is that all female students, including non-Muslims, must wear the hijab. Quote, "If I force my daughter to wear the headscarf, I will be lying about my daughter's identity," her father stated, adding, quote, "Where are my religious rights? This is a public school after all," end quote. Public schools were given 30 days to rescind the mandated attire by the government. Schools that do not comply will be penalized. So yay,
Wow, this is
Indonesia.
strange. We're getting some like
Mazel tov,
usually when we cover Indonesia, it's something bad from the Aceh province, something Islamic. Actually, the last two times that this one and the last time we covered Indonesia, it was good news. One, they took down this like this Terry group. There's this radical Islamic group in Indonesia. The government,
Islamic Defense Front.
Yes, the government was taking actions against that.
They banned them as a political party.
Wow. And now they're like, yeah, you know, so what's happening? Is there some, I don't know, are these just like one-off anecdotes about some good news, or are winds like starting to blow in the different direction? Is this a sign of something happening in Indonesia, or are these just like some small things here and there?
I'm not sure, but Silva Kumar is saying give them a medal and a cookie. And then I have to address this comment by Amir saying you guys believe in human rights yet clapped when hijabs are banned. Hijabs are not banned.
What an idiot!
Compulsory hijabs are banned, meaning you are forced to wear something that you do not want to wear, that is actually a violation of your own religious identity. You are forced to wear it, and you will be punished if you do not wear it. Yes, we are going to clap for that, because that's women's rights, you D-bag.
No, he doesn't even know how to read. He's such an idiot. Your name has now been...
problem with reading the title.
This is like, okay, so Amir, your name is now forever on our YouTube channel for eternity as an idiot. Congratulations, because you can't even understand what's happening. If something that was being forced has been banned, you understand how this works? A ban has been banned. It's a double negative, okay? So being able to show your hair, that was banned, and now that has been banning people from being able to show their hair has been banned. It's a double negative. Like, you're such an idiot. Amir, congratulations, you're such an idiot. And now your name, I hope that's your real name, because it's now forever available to everybody to see as evidence of how stupid you are. Congratulations.
Okay, but anyway. This is funny. Swapinil saying, when did hijab become a human right?
No, guys, hijab
is compulsory hijab.
No, guys, hijab is a human right. You get to choose. You get to wear the hijab if you want. Okay, the hijab hasn't been banned. Forcing the hijab has been banned. You idiot. Oh my God. People like Amir are why we can't have nice things. The hijab is a human right. You could wear the hijab, okay? Forcing it has been banned. Maybe read before you comment so that you don't look like an idiot.
So I thought this was really interesting. So in the past, religious dress codes have often caused division among Indonesians, some wishing to free themselves from these cultural demands. The hijab issue was addressed by Jakarta's contentious governor, Tajahaja Purnama, in 2016. Purnama condemned the public school's practice of forcing female students to wear hijab and called for a ban. So this is back in 2016. Quote, the hijab they wear looks like a napkin. I think the napkins in my kitchen is better. When the students go out of the school gate, they remove their headscarves as soon as they jump on their father's motorbike, said the governor. So, and, Indonesia is a Muslim majority country, but by law, they have to recognize other religions. A Minister of Education and Culture, Nadiem Makarim, said the choice of wearing religious attire was, quote, an individual's right. It's not the school's decision. The essence of this decree is that students, teachers, and education officials have the right to choose, said Makarim as she declared the decision on February 3rd. Wearing religious-oriented attire is an individual decision. So here's the thing, though. Indonesia only officially recognizes 6 religions, although it has consecrated cultural pluralism. Yeah, that seems kind of contradictory to me when you only officially recognize 6 religions. But I wanted to read Daniel Hakikaju's commentary on this. This is actually how I found out about this news, because I keep an eye on this man. And so Armin's cracking up. So I found out about this news because of our friend Daniel Hakikaju. If you guys don't know who he is, he's a pretty prominent Muslim fundamentalist, a little involved with dawah or calling people to Islam. And Armin's actually met him on several occasions.
I think he fancies himself some sort of rationalist.
Oh, he does actually explicitly.
Isn't he Harvard educated?
Yes, in physics.
Yeah, so he's got this,
Wait, can we go over the comments?
Point to I just want people to understand kind of his sense.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's a Muslim fundamentalist.
Yeah, but he calls him his brand is literally the Muslim skeptic.
He's an ex-Shia, Sunni Iranian, Harvard educated Muslim fundamentalist.
Yeah. So this was his commentary. So he posted a screenshot of the news and he said, quote, this is an individual's right. Teachers, students with parents' consent have the right to choose. It is not the school's decision, said the education minister. And then he continues, here is a list of things parents, teachers, and students have no right to choose and schools imposed by force. It is necessary to force kids to go to school. It is necessary to force kids to study certain subjects. It is necessary to force kids to abide by a parentheses Western-inspired dress code. It is necessary to force kids to abide by a strict class schedule. It is necessary to force kids to meet certain rigorous academic benchmarks. It is necessary to force kids to abide by a strict code of conduct. It is necessary to force kids to follow an extensive list of requirements and expectations for years of schooling. Why is all this force necessary? Because it's good for the kids and serves their best interests, so we must enforce it regardless of choice. So, hijab and other values are not good for children and do not serve their interest. That is the clear message. Stop the secularization of the ummah. Stop the dumb liberal arguments about choice. So,
okay.
I have a lot to say about this. So I read that and I thought that he was making an argument that sounds like he's saying something, but he's really saying nothing. It's a false equivalence. The things that he's talking about being good, they may or may not be good for kids. Some of them are good for the bureaucracy. Some of them are good for society. Some of them are good for future participants in the economy, giving kids tools, making them have academic standards. How are you going to know if they've passed? You need some frame of reference. He's talking about things that have nothing to do with quote unquote necessarily good. That's a value judgment. And I also feel like he's making this argument that it's okay to force people to wear something they don't want to wear. And then the governor was saying, and they look crappy like a napkin and they throw it off. So the governor's saying it's because they don't really believe in it. And it almost takes away from what someone like who's a believer would have in terms of the religious significance, the reverence, the fact that it's a choice, it's supposed to be a specific religious act, but when you're forcing people and then as soon as they get out of your sight, they throw it in the trash, that tells you that they're not treating it with the reverence that you're treating it with, you know. And this thing about choice, well, he's allowed to wear it, someone else isn't. But if you're forcing someone, it's not because it's good for them, it's because you want them to submit to you.
Well, because it's good for them, according to him. Like, this is like okay, so I'm going to actually defend Daniel Hayraju if his premise of Islam being true is true.
It is consistent.
I think it is consistent. All of this makes complete sense. The only reason why he's wrong is that Islam is crap and Allah is not real. But I see his point. This is completely consistent. Hijab, if Islam was true, it doesn't really matter if you want the hijab or not. Indonesia is an Islamic country. You force this on girls age because this is in their best interest, both for them in this life and the next life. Yeah, they need, like you're saying that this is not good for them. You just want them to submit. Well, yeah, you want them to submit to Allah and Allah's religion because you think this is good for them, because this is in their best interest, right? And like he's saying, like you're saying this is a value judgment by him. Well, so are all these other things that we force children. We force children to do their homework. We force children.
That's not a value judgment, though. That's a way of measuring whether they've learned something. Forcing them to stick to a schedule is for the function of the bureaucracy and the people in charge, and maybe helping them learn how to go to work on time. Those aren't necessarily good or bad. They just are.
No, they are. No, they are. They are because the society has decided that learning these things and learning how to follow a schedule and learning these things are good for children. These are value judgments. These are all value judgments. And I mean, the difference is that we agree that those are good values, and we disagree that hijab is a good value, right? I don't think hijab is a good value. I think hijab is modesty culture, and it's a bad value. We agree that kids learning how to function in society, how to keep a schedule, how to submit projects, how to do teamwork, we think those are good values.
Maybe, but they may also not be. I think they just are. I don't think the action themselves has a good or bad necessarily. It's something that the society has decided is important.
It's absolutely not. It is absolutely nobody decided. We don't do. Okay, we're getting too much into it. Like, we don't teach kids how to do math just because this is how things are. We teach them because we think that this is a useful thing for them to know, and we think this is useful. This is all value judgment. Anyways, I don't want to get into too much. Like, we don't just do it just because we do it. These are all value judgments. So I think he's being consistent. He just, like, the disagreement is not. I think it's like, if you believe these are good for children, if we think like learning math is not good for children, we have to remove it from our education system. It's a waste of time and resources. We keep it there because we think it's good for them. So if you also think teaching kids how to wear the hijab is good for them, if you actually think that, just like learning math, that should be forced on them. Okay. The only reason why I'm against it is because I think it's not good for them. But I do think that somebody like Daniel Hayraju is being completely consistent here. But this is the difference between Muslims who are consistent with their Islamic ideology and so-called moderate Muslims who are better people because they're worse Muslims, right? Because they're not as good at being consistent with their Islamic ideology because they have been influenced. Again, this is whenever I say Muslims who are moderate or reform or whatever, whenever I say they're not consistent with their Islam, I'm hoping that people understand that that's not me attacking them. The reason why they're not consistent with Islam is because they have been influenced by superior values to Islam. Okay, this is not meant to me being like, oh my God, look, you don't understand Islam, you're not consistent. Well, it's good that you're not. You're a better person because you're not consistent with Islam. Anyways, I don't want to get into too much philosophical discussion about what's value, what's objective, what's subjective. But that's Rivka disagrees with me on this. Do you want to add?
Really, what it comes down to is like what you need to know is that Islamically, according to scripture, it is not a choice for women who have menstruated. It's not a choice. So he's being consistent here. And yeah, I mean,
of course he is, but that's a different.
But I don't think even Islamically non-Christian, non-Muslim women are forced to wear the hijab. Like, in fact, isn't that exactly what makes them distinct?
No, I mean, if you're a slave, I think you're not supposed to wear a hijab. But if you're living under Islamic law, then I think you technically are supposed to. Yeah, if you're in public, you're supposed. If you're like
even if you've like paid your jizya and all that, well, like I don't know.
Yeah, I think there are separate rules for you. Like you could buy and sell wine as long as like you do it in your own areas. And Muslims don't have like you can't sell wine, for example, to Muslims. If you're in public, I think you're supposed to wear the hijab. If it was completely Sharia country,
I've seen some old like writings and also illustrations of specific head covers specific to different groups. Like, you know, Jewish people were a certain one, and that's also in the Middle Europe too. But somebody's head is covered, whether it's Islamically or recognizable as another religion, it's still covered.
What's traditionally happened under Islamic countries in history is not what Muslim fundamentalists will consider Islamic teaching, right? Like there's a lot of times it could be like, well, under the Abbasid they did this, under the Umayyad they did this, under the Ottomans they did this, and like a lot of Muslim fundamentalists were like, yeah, who made these caliphs the authority on what's Islamic practice? We go to the ulama for that, not to the caliphs, right? Like just because like these people did this and this is what they, I mean, there are a lot of caliphs that passed laws that were in complete opposition with the ulama, right? So they don't say like Islamic practice in history is not a good reference for a lot of Muslim fundamentalists of what is Islamic and what's not Islamic. For that, they go back to the Hadith, back to the Quran, and back to the the scholars and the and stuff like that. So that is. Anyways, we're getting into too much.
No, this is a hilarious comment from Katie, and this is a joke, you guys, because obviously it's not like technically accurate. So this is hilarious. How to bypass the hijab 101. They're slaves to Allah, and slaves don't need to wear the hijab.
That's a good one.
Think about it.
Yeah. And also subscribe to our newsletter, because if we get removed from all these platforms, at least we could reach out to you. And guys, by the way, if you subscribe to our newsletter, you get a free copy of where's your copy, Susanna? Get it. We're doing promotion. You get a free, it's not even promotion, it's free. Okay, so if you subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description, you get a free copy of Why There's No God. Come on, like I'm handing it out for free. Okay, it's a bestseller on Amazon, and you get it for free. So subscribe to our newsletter, and you get a free copy of Why There's No God sent to you. Link in the description.